Hi, everybody. Welcome to the new normal. I'm your host, Lisa Davis, aka Litecoin Lisa. Today is the new year. Welcome to January 2023. We made it. We survived 2022. I'm not sure how 2023 is going to go, but we're going to do it together. So give us a like, share this video. I'm going to just update you guys on some news that came out over the weekend and see what we have cooking for this week. So I'll be right back right after this. Welcome. Welcome to all. Thanks for joining me in the live chat. So I thought I would jump on here. It's a Monday, the first Monday of the year. We've got a full moon coming up this Friday on the dreaded day, and a big court case going on in the Supreme Court on that day. You guys have a lot of you have heard people talking about it. And there is something you can do to take action. Let me find my Patreon link real quick. I was going to make sure that I share this with you guys. Where is my most recent posts? Inside payouts. New Year's, my tiers. Oh, it looks different on my phone than on the computer. Let me see if I can find it in my on the computer. So for my patrons, I made sure to post on the 22nd of December a link with instructions on how you can write a letter to the Supreme Court to make sure that you can let your voice be heard about the Brunson Adams case. So when they did the filing, it had to be less than 135 pages, which is really specific to the way that things have to be filed in courts. There's, certain calendars, timing, ways things have to be done. That's like when we did the amici status for the very Dow on the SEC versus Ripple case. That was the way that we could have our voice be heard as a token holder in the secondary market, to be a friend of the court. That's one way you can be a friend of the court. You can also just write a letter to the Supreme Court as a U.S. citizen, and you can mention this Adams, Brunson. Maybe I'll send it from my phone since I can't seem to do it from the website. I don't know why that's so hard for me. Let's see, share and send to myself. Hopefully that will go through okay. And then watch it say like I can't open it or something. Hopefully I can find it. It's so weird not having somebody to talk to when I do this. Okay, I copied that. Now let's see if I can go in here and do this. Okay. It's the one that said, be heard, not herded. And I gave instructions. It has a template for a Spanish version on the third page. So they even screenshot the letter for you. They ask you to personalize it, send it to SCOTUS, and a copy to Brunson Brothers. You can even put a $1 in to the copy to Brunson Brothers, and that way, if you want, to help contribute to their case, and their efforts, if you think about, like, if everybody gave $1, that would be awesome. But let's see. Sharing this tab instead. Here is, and I'm gonna see if I can share this link in the chat so you guys can grab it too. And thanks to everybody who's jumping in and joining us in the chat. I can see you guys over there now. Linda, Crypto Experiences by St. Jerome. Make sure to check out his channel. He did a good wallets video the other day about custodial and non-custodial wallets. And our friend Tom, I'm so glad you made it home okay. Polly P, I hope you're safe driving on the road. We're always thinking of you. Aquarian done napping. Oh, today would be a perfect day to nap. Johnny Midas, great to see you. Nana, love you, Mom. I hope you're having a good day. And Mr. X, good to see you. Happy New Year. Letha D, good to see you. JB Rants, good to see you in here. And my dear friend Denise Baker, she and Tom were the first ones in the chat. So glad to have you guys all in here. And Phil C is popping in to say hello as well. So this, I think, is a great thing. I know we all get frustrated that feels sometimes like you don't have a voice. This is something we can do, and it's not too late. We have all this week. This is something you can do today. I would recommend you take action on it today and get to the post office tomorrow. Post offices are closed today because it was like a federal holiday. And all the Fed people go back to work tomorrow. I will tell you, like, I see things sometimes, like I'll see numbers repeating, or I'll see things that I think are comms. Sometimes I'm right, sometimes I'm not. But I've been seeing a lot of 1-3s lately. 1-3, 1-3, 1-3. And I was seeing this narrative about 1-3 possibly being associated with the McAfee, what's it called? Dead man switch. So I wouldn't be surprised if that dropped tomorrow. And then that could be like the big, you guys know, on the remote viewing, our friends over at Crypto Remote Viewing, they have that scene that we're all waiting to kind of play out where they're in the halls of Congress and they're like crying and throwing up in the hallways and all that kind of stuff. So apparently McAfee gave a 3-letter agency a bunch of computers or software. I can't remember if it's which one. And during that, it had a worm in it, which connected and allowed him to have access to like a backdoor into a lot of government information. And so apparently he has like all the emails. He has the Benghazi stuff with Hillary. He has everything. And so that's what the dead man kill switch is. And so if that were to be released, which they say, my favorite letter, the alphabet, says like the first arrest will shock the world. If some of that is ES and has something to do with China, I think that could be pretty exciting. It may not be what we think, the obvious stuff that's in, that we know about Fang and all that stuff. May be something we don't know about. But anyway, I digress. So this is something a little bit separate. This is the leading up to this Friday. You guys can, a how-to video. I didn't see the video before. Share this tab instead. Oh my, it might be really long if it's Juan telling it. Let me see how long this is. And it's Rumble, so it takes forever to load. So it's on Jennifer Mack's website. 7 minutes. Let's see.
Letters from each and every one of you. The questions you've been asking are, how do I write the 2 letters, one to the Supreme Court and one to the Brunson brothers? And why? We're writing 2 letters because the Supreme Court's probably not going to tell us how many letters they got. The Brunson brothers are. And so we're going to be able to track how many letters are actually getting to the Supreme Court, so we know with our own sources what's going on. So here's how you're going to do it. And by the way, kids, teenagers, look, you're going to inherit the world shortly. You're going to be left with consequences of what's going on. You need to write letters too. It doesn't have to be just a voting age person. Anybody living here in America or around the world that might be suffering from the effects of whatever's going to happen with this government needs to make their feelings known. So I want you to get 2 envelopes, 2 stamps, and 2 pieces of paper. And on each piece of paper, let's start with the letter itself. Write at the very top, attention to the 9 justices of the Supreme Court. Put a note expressing your support of Brunson, Brunson, versus Alma, Alma, middle initial S, Adams, Adams, et al., which is ETAL, comma, number 22-380. Then sign your name and date it. You can write more information in your letter if you want to, concerning why you want this case looked at, but it really is that simple. The court may not even get time to read all the letters. The whole point is that we express our interest and they know what's going on. Now, there's a direct link to a letter that's already been pre-composed by Raland Brunson, and you can just go to the link, and if you have a copy machine printer, you can just print it right out, maybe add a little PS at the bottom, a note at the bottom for your letter, and that can go right out in both of your letters. We want the Brunsons to have a copy of whatever you send, so either handwrite or make a photocopy of what you sent to the Supreme Court so they see what you sent. And when you're done writing your letter, put it in an envelope, and on the front of the envelope, write it to the Supreme Court of the United States, 1st Street Northeast, Washington, D.C., zip code 20543. Put your stamp on the envelope, put your return address on the side of the envelope. With the second copy, put that in the second envelope and address it to Loy, L-O-Y, and Raland, R-A-L-A-N-D, Brunson, 4287 South Harrison, Harrison Boulevard, apartment number 132, Ogden, O-G-D-E-N, Utah, 84403 is the zip code. And put $1 inside this envelope, or more if you feel like it. But you know, $1 is gonna really add up quickly, and it helps the guys to know you really care. Everybody should be doing that. Look, we all got $1. Get real. And then flip the envelope over, and on the back, put wherever you heard about this. If it's Hammer Time, if it's the PPN Network, if it's Nino, or any of the other,
or Litecoin Lisa.
Put the host and the state that you're from. That's for us on the back side. Don't put it on the front side of the envelope. It'll confuse the carrier, postal carrier. This is an urgent situation because this case is going to be decided whether it's going to move forward and the Supreme Court puts it on its docket or not. At a conference they've called for January 6th, when all the justices decide whether to take the case or not. We just need 4 justices to take it, 5 to win. But this is very important. This is us voting again at a critical moment. It's an amazing moment. Okay, when you're done with your letters, consider helping a family member, a neighbor. Maybe you have a printer and somebody down the street doesn't, but they're a patriot. You got a copy machine, whatever it might be. Help out some other folks to get their letters out also. Why send a letter to the Brunson brothers? Why not just to the Supreme Court? Because we may not know or be told how many letters went to the Supreme Court. We will know and see how many letters went to the Brunson brothers. And by the way, putting that $1 in there, that means something. They spent $2 million of their own money to get to this point in time. We need to shoulder up. It shouldn't be just on a couple of people that feel the desire, need, understanding that there's a reason to do something. It shouldn't just be on them. It should be on all of us. So let's shoulder up, show them we care, we're thankful. And in the end, if we win, you want to be counted on the winning team. Get a piece of the pie here. We own,
yeah,
be
these
part of
guys
owning
play
the country.
trumpets.
The Brunson brothers didn't ask for this $1. It was my idea. I think it's a reasonable idea to help them out. Let's get in there and show them that we care. all right, and that we're backing them. And also for the Supreme Court, they're going to have to make some hard decisions. Let them know, put some wind under their wings. The reason they're under attack is because of Roe versus Wade.
Well, there we go. So that's something you can do and take action yourself. I think that's something that would be a great writing assignment for homeschool for us at our house. So Ken will be home tomorrow. We can work on that together and get that at the post office tomorrow afternoon. So I'll have some more. I'll post those instructions again. Once again, if you're on my Patreon, you can go back to the December 22nd post, and it has all that information on it. You can either watch the video or click on the link for the instructions. And I think I can go back in and add these instructions into the, no, Mom, it's not too late. I just saw another video last night. It's not too late because actually they aren't going to make a decision until on Monday. But it's supposed to be like heard or presented on the 6th, but they would be announcing the decision, I guess, on Monday. So, but everybody should take action as quickly as possible. Today would be a great day. Today's always the best day to take action. So I also wanted to, go through and hopefully everybody saw Reggie's post about the Circle lawsuit. We had a great Twitter Spaces this morning, about 2 hours long. It is recorded, so you can go on to Twitter and listen to the recording. We got jumped by a total shill that got in there, and he just really loves USDC, and JP Morgan's his best friend, and anyway, he loves Wall Street and all kinds of things. But Reggie handled it like a gentleman and shut him down, tried to answer his questions as best he could, but then the guy just got irate, and I got to give him the wrench and the boot, which was awesome. But I did bring up the fact, I said, that guy seemed really like angry, and typically when people act that angry, it's because they're scared. And so why are they so scared? Like, what happens like as the lawsuit moves forward? I'm not a lawyer. Obviously, Reggie's not a lawyer, but we do believe that they're infringing when you read through the patent, and that's what they're pursuing through the courts to see what the judges say. And so I said, what happens to the person that's holding USDC? And he said, well, that's a great question. He said, so there are IP lawsuits all the time. He said, he said, like in your phones, there's like, I can't even remember how many pieces of IP there are in a cell phone, like maybe hundreds, I don't know, tons of IP in a cell phone. He said, and iOS and Samsung or Android are constantly suing each other to say, no, that was my IP. No, that was my IP. No, that's my IP. And he said, in fact, recently there was just a lawsuit. Samsung just sued iOS for a piece of IP. And he said, did you notice anything? What kind of phone do you have? I said, I have an Apple. I have iOS. He's like, great. He said, how did that affect you and your phone? And I said, it didn't affect me at all. He's like, right. So the person holding USDC won't be affected. It's that the agreement between the infringing, the Circle or USDC or Coinbase. So now he has a lawsuit against Coinbase and the lawsuit against Circle or USDC. And that's where the rubber will hit the road, not for the token holder themselves. So everybody can just calm down. He's not here to destroy crypto. He's actually just going to clean it up. So, and it's through the truth protocol of Veritasium. So that was really great educational 2 hours. And he did a great job with that. Then here's where he So on the 30th, which I believe was Thursday, he came out, said, hey, breaking news. We filed suit against Circle for use, transfer, and minting of USDC stablecoins, which Veritasium alleges infringes on a multitude of our patents, including the 556, the 3447, and our just granted 40 claim DeFi patent out of Japan. So, so now he says we have 3 separate patents on and roughly 75 claims in the first and third largest economies and the first and second largest crypto and financial markets in the world. This news is not covered by the mainstream business media and is ignored by crypto media. So the only article I can find is Reuters did do one article on, I think it was Thursday or Friday, stating that the lawsuit came out, but then most of the article was about saying that the SEC filed fraud charges, or not filed fraud charges, I'm sorry, alleged fraud, which was never agreed to or settled on. It was the whole thing was just went away. And it was just a very weird article. So, and then the rest of, this should be like the biggest news in finance right now, but they do not want to talk about it. Let's see. This was disgusting. Katie Hobbs bursting laughing out loud when she was asked to repeat her support and defense of the Constitution. I don't know why she's being signed in today. There's obviously issues around that in Arizona. Let's see. More stuff we can't talk about because we used to live in America. I think everybody's seen or heard this information about significant stuff happening this week. And you guys, I think, like we said, there's a full moon this Friday, and Mercury and Mars are in retrograde until like the 12th and 18th of this month. Or maybe it was the 16th and 18th, which is Martin Luther King's birthday on the 15th. So, let's see. Oh, this was hilarious. Never forget how stupid all this was. They're starting the narrative again. And I think people are just like, no, we're not playing again. I'm not doing it again. So we'll see how that plays out. There was also a Social Security prompted a 8.7% cost of living adjustment, which that doesn't even cover, I don't think, the true inflation that we will be seeing and that we are seeing currently. But that's what they're reporting and doing. Who's that damn handsome man? Don't assume my Tinder. I found that old. They always see, they've already unliked it again from me. I like it all the time and I retweet it and they unlike it for me. So Elon still hasn't figured this out. I don't know why. See, and then I click it and it goes 240 back to 239, but it's red. It makes me think I liked it. Oh my goodness. Get your gear at 84million.com. More stuff we can't talk about. Let's see. Oh, guys, remember when I was so excited that the Attorney General, Denise George, filed a lawsuit against JP Morgan Chase for aiding in the Jeffrey Epstein stuff? They didn't file the suspicious reporting or suspicious funds reports or whatever with Jeffrey Epstein, and she got terminated. So just in case you're wondering if the powers that be are still in control. Ninja did a great video about the Fed turning to gold, or going to send gold through the roof here pretty soon. we're anticipating metals to go pretty quickly. This was talked about. I was seeing all these promoted tweets about boobs and bras, and I was like, what is all this boob stuff? And then I see this, the breast region. I'm like, oh, that's what that it was comms about the breast region. Okay. So this was last Thursday, the projectile was launched from the air defense system from Ukraine. The territory was downed by Belarusian air defenses as it breached the Republic's airspace on Thursday morning. Its fragments landed near the village of Gorbaka. I'm not sure how to say that. In the of Ivanov district of the Brest region. So you can imagine that depending on who's in power, they're going to be pushing that narrative more and more. Prayers for everybody in Sacramento. Tons of rain and water coming down California. That guy's jet skiing and what's it called? Grapevine things. Where was my other stuff I wanted to share? There was some stuff from this weekend. Oh, Paul Hastings. So this is Nick Morgan from Paul Hastings. I did an interview with him for Very Dow, and they share some great information. The SEC adopts amendments revamping Rule 10b-51 trading regime and mandated relating disclosures. So this is about changing the rules on the insider trading for Congress. It gets real wordy and all that, but it's going to be really interesting to see. Let's see, other market participants. Okay, it changes the availability of this defense has led to relatively widespread adoption of Rule 10b-51 plans by issuers, insiders, and other market participants purchasing and selling securities over the past 22 years since the commission first adopted the rule. Okay, the final amendments seek to modernize the protection accorded to investor from insider trading by, number one, placing limitations on this rule, affirmative defense to insider trading, creating new disclosure requirements to keep potential investors abreast with issuers' insider trading policies and procedures, providing investor oversight into the trading practices of direct officers. 5, in order to curtail opportunistic trading. Gosh, sounds like Nancy Pelosi, all of this. Increasing transparency in issuer equity compensation award practices in relation to the release of material non-public information. In its adopting release, the commission asserted that the amendments would bolster investor confidence in the securities markets, enhance capital formation for businesses, and help curb fraudulent misuse of insider information, while at the same time granting insiders the freedom to establish parameters for future trades at a time when they're not in possession of material non-public information. Given the popularity and opportunistic rule of 10b-51 plans, the amendments are likely to have significant implications for businesses and investors alike. So then they go on to talk about what dates they're going to kick in, and blah, 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 starts April, because that's like the fiscal year starts April 1st. A cooling off period. So that's going to be interesting. That they're going to use a cooling off period. They're going to, let's see. Directors and officers are subject to a bifurcated waiting period equal to the longer of 1, 90 days post-plan adoption, or 2 business days following the user's filing of a quarterly report on Form 10Q, or annual report on Form 10K for the fiscal quarter in which the plan was adopted, subject to a 120-day cap. And then issuers, At this time, issuers will not be subject to the waiting period. However, the commission is further considering and to what extent a cooling off period should be implemented for the issuers. And then other persons are subject to a cooling off period. It's weird that the issuers wouldn't be, but other persons are. Indirect. Anyway. The amendments also codify the commissioner's historic guidance that changes to the amount, price, or timing transactions under an existing rule plan constitute the termination of the plan and the adoption of a new plan that is subject to a refresh cooling off period. Conversely, modifications to the plan do not impact the price, amount, or timing of transactions, are not subject to the renewed waiting period. And then, oh gosh, anyway, goes into all these other things, but it's basically putting some rules around and restricting some of this insider trading that we've seen the powers that be get so wealthy on. So I thought that was a good thing that we can be excited about. The lawsuit. This was interesting. People were talking about Andrew Tate's arrest, and I mean, look at the lighting, all this. Watch his hands in this. He's not handcuffed at all. But then the minute he gets in and does this. Look, he's not handcuffed. He's just holding his arms like that. Like, it was totally fake. So I don't know what's going on with that. You know, he is just trying to get. Oh, I don't think you guys can hear that. I am anticipating this. And this is the new year of the rabbit, but that Chinese New Year starts on the 23rd of this month. January 23rd is the Chinese New Year. So that rabbit won't probably show its head till the 23rd, I would think. But I don't know that. Big shout out to Sarah Huckabee Sanders. She's doing some great things in Arkansas. She's like went straight to, she's doing her cabinet appointments. And one of her biggest things she's working on is like all the pork and danger in the DHS in Arkansas. She also, mom told me that she's also working on getting rid of the income tax there. So that was really exciting. Good stuff there. Got a shout out to the good people when they're doing the good things. I loved this.
Okay, you're checked in.
Oh, I don't know. I'm not. Had to share that with you guys. Thought it was epic. This was for my husband. And oh yeah, I want to make sure I share Melania's dress from New Year's Eve. Oh, this is another good story though. Before I get to Melania. So I guess McCarthy conceded because he didn't have enough support for being the Speaker of the House. And so it's going to actually be Matt Gaetz and Marjorie Taylor Greene as like kind of de facto speaker. There'll be co-speakers until a speaker is decided. So who knows who that might be? Very interesting. I thought that was really interesting. Let's see. Oh, this was another big thing. I thought SBF cashed out. Apparently he, didn't have enough to pay his bail, but he cashed out $684,000 while he's under house arrest. Guess he's got, I don't know what he's doing with that money. I would think there's a lot of people after him right now. If he had any money, I'm sure they want their own money. People want their money back. More and more tribal news that I'm seeing where, that all needs to be made right. bunch of laws went into effect in Oklahoma on the 1st. I know we talked about this before, but Nathan Dam here in Oklahoma did a great job. He proposed an amendment to declare Oklahoma as a sovereign state. And the voters would decide later this year is how this would go. So if the amendment passes by the legislature, then the Oklahomans would vote on it in the next election. So this could be really big news for Oklahoma. And, we're a small enough state that we could set a great example. We'll also have our treasury has gold in it. So that would be a great thing to keep us safe from some of the other issues that I'll be careful with my words. But it says a part of the federal union known as the United States. Okay, state of Oklahoma is an inseparable and sovereign state, a part of the federal union known as the United States of America. And the Constitution of the United States is the supreme law of the land, and any laws to the contrary are null and void and of no effect in the state. So that is what the amendment states. So then he came out with a press release and says that the states are not subservient to the federal government. The states created the federal government. They gave it power that it does have, and they reserved the remainder to themselves, which I think that was awesome. So this says that their legislative session doesn't begin till February. So I'm not sure why that's right, but anyway, exciting stuff here in Oklahoma. Well done, Senator Nathan Dam. Let's see. Share this tab instead. Let me find Melania. That was the big I wanted to share. Oh, more lawsuits at Disney. Everybody hopefully ate their black-eyed peas. Yeah, tons of taxes hitting Americans right now, which I think is just going to piss everybody off and get them to say, up yours. They swore Lula in, at least the government swore Lula in, but the military is standing with the people. So everybody should be praying for Brazil. This was horrible. Can't even talk about that. This guy's saying, call for backup, call for backup. And they're just standing there. So that'll be interesting. Don't put Alexa in your bedroom or your private areas in your home. They have listening devices in them. The reason they even came up with Alexa was because people found out there were microphones in them. They were created to spy on you. They weren't just speakers. And so then they came up with this, oh no, we did it for you, for your convenience, so that you can talk to your speaker and tell it what to do. And so this article even says that, like, there's a whole thing of Google that, like, they listen to thousands of recordings every day. So they're constantly listening to your family because it's just all on a loop that it's constantly going. The big housing slump is coming, so be ready with your silver. Be watching on the market, whether you're paying your own home off or looking for that special place, your little patch of heaven. Let's see. My husband cutting trees down. I'm trying to just clear out flower beds. Let's see. Coin Vigilante has these beautiful watches. If you guys are looking for a gift, Valentine's Day is around the corner. There's Bitcoin and Litecoin watches, and they now have a new ladies line that I have a rose gold Bitcoin watch that I love. Let's see. Dubai. Where's my Melania dress? digital ruble submitted to Russian parliament for Russia. That will be very exciting. Pelosi needs to send out her tax returns. There she is. Notice the beautiful silver dress. Hold on, let's listen to what he has to say.
Peace. We should have never been involved with a certain war that's taking place right now. It's really hurting killing a lot of people, but hurting a lot of countries. And hopefully that'll get straightened out very quickly with Ukraine and Russia. We have to have that. We have to have a strong border, very importantly. We have to have a strong border. We have to have it now. Our country is being very gravely hurt. And we have to bring back the economy. We have to get rid of inflation. It's destroying our country. Go ahead, please. I think it's a disgrace what's happened with the FBI and with the weaponization of justice. There's never been anything like this, and it is disgraceful. And thank you for that question.
How do you feel about the campaign?
Well, I think very good. You know, campaigns really, you're talking about almost 2 years, but I think very good. I think we're doing really well. I saw poll numbers just today that were fantastic. And I think we're going to do well. We're going to make America great again. Very simple. We're going to make America great.
President, as a new Congress, what's your border business?
I think we have to look at the borders and we have to look at inflation very quickly. We have to stop the war between Russia and Ukraine.
Any New Year's resolutions for you and the First Lady?
Well, we have a great relationship. We've gotten along very well from day one, and we're going to keep it that way. Thank you.
So there you go. She's in silver. Her dresses are typically comms, whether it was the one with the children's drawings on it. We had the orange or gold bricks that were on it when bricks was rolling out. There's just more and more things. So I think this is a great sign that silver's around the corner for us for 2023. And she looks beautiful. Janie Moonstone gave us a little January 1st, beautiful Norman Rockwell way to usher in 2023. So I think that's a great way to end this week or this today. I'm going to jump in and read through your comments real quick. Make sure you guys don't have any questions for me. Oklahoma population per square mile. Yeah, that's small. Yeah. Because that's why I think we can turn our ship and be a good example for the rest of the country. We also have our National Guard is the 45th Division of National Guard. And I don't know if you guys noticed when I was scrolling through, they're doing a lot of recruitment to our National Guard. And they've changed. They also recruited a lot of highway patrol and sheriff this past summer. And we're doing a lot of education and changed a lot of things. So yeah, sorry, I messed up my feed earlier, guys. I thought I was sharing the screen with you when I was reading through that thing about them changing insider trading. If gas is going back up, are we going to have a high inflation print? Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, I think that's already baked in, Phil, just with them passing that bill. They have to turn the money printer back on. But remember that in the road to Ruta, that is part of the plan, that the good guys are inside the Fed and they have to print it to nothing. And then we turn to silver, gold, whatever. So I believe that's part of it. And I've always had a good feeling about Janine from Tarot by Janine, and they kept her off air for a while. I think, I don't know if you guys remember this, but there was a time when I was in the chat on I think it was Jean-Claude's channel, and Uncle Cliff swatted me because I was like, remember that Uncle Cliff, his bots tell what it was right when the great infection was coming. And they were talking about, oh, it's going to be awful. And oh, this is, and I was like, but remember, his bots read what the news says, not what's actually happening. And he jumped in and swatted me. And then later he reached out to me and he was like, look, people need to see what they need to see, whatever. And they took her off the air about the same time. And now she has been consistent saying that she's still seeing, and she sees that as the signs are coming up that, oh, it's so bad, everything's so bad. But then as she's driving through her storm, things just keep getting better. And some of that may be that it's a perspective thing. Like for a lot of us that are so awake, like for us learning about what's really been going on in the world, that's been the horrible part. Like these past few years of like, they've been doing what to children, and, oh my God, our government is doing what, and, the Fed's not federal and there's no reserves. Like finding all that stuff out to us has been so awful for so long that as the truth comes out for us, it'll feel good. But for the normies, it'll be horrible. Like, so there is truth in both of those statements. I think it just depends on your perspective. So I think that I feel like that's where she was maybe coming from. Like for her, she's like, oh, they keep saying it's going to be so horrible, but boy, it looks great to me, because a lot of us have prepared too. We're taking a different path. We don't have our money in the bank, and we know that silver protects your wealth, and we're not living for material things right now. It's about community and ascension and the greater good spiritually, but in the future. And so I think those kind of things are what our story will look different than some other people that it may be really rough year for. So I think we can all kind of look to each other to lift each other up and be kind, even though I want to print a shirt that says I told you so badly. It's frustrating, but at the same time, like I have some friends that, for different reasons, did make some decisions medically and otherwise to do some things that now they're facing the consequences, and it's heartbreaking, and so I think we're going to all be in those positions that we'll need to have some grace for each other, for humanity, and move forward. So, but I think there's a lot to look forward to. I have a dear friend who has really strong feelings that Litecoin is on its way up. He's done the math over and over and believes that if it repeats itself in the cycle, then by this June or July, I can't remember if it was June or July, that would be a new high, being the number I tried to tell you t-shirt is what I need. I'll make you one, Tom. I'll make you one and send you one. But the yeah, I think you may be right. I think because people won't really understand, there'll be a transition. St. Jerome, you're right. Cash will be king first, and then they'll realize, well, wait, every time I go to sleep, they print more of this stuff, and then metals, and then cryptos. And I think that definitely they have to go through that. They have to go through the using the metals and then realizing it's so difficult to use the metals, and then, but then we've had this experience where they're like, yeah, but they had the bad cryptos have to get shaken out too. And that's where like that, if you can get on Twitter and listen to Reggie's Twitter spaces from this morning, he does do a really good job talking about the stablecoin thing and a solution to it. And that has to happen too. Veritasium has to come in and be able to be that truth protocol. So I think we're looking forward to that too. So I look forward to seeing all of you guys. Tomorrow we'll have Sean and I show. We'll start over here on my channel, and then we'll move over and do the rest of the show over on his channel. So we'll have a great week this week, and I look forward to chatting with all of you guys in the chat. If you're not a member of Patreon, please consider supporting me and my channel that way. I really appreciate it. It's a big support to me, and a way that I can connect with you individually as well. So do that. And we are still looking at the end of January, beginning of February for a meetup. I don't know if it's going to be in Florida or Arizona-ish. I'm going to be talking with my mighty sirens and figuring that one out, but we're still bouncing that around, and we'll get those details and give everybody at least 30 days so we can have enough people there and make sure we have a great turnout and get the community together. But you guys keep your head up, and I think it's going to be a great 2023. I think we can all put that together, put some energy into that. So you guys take care, and I don't know. We might hear from this guy tomorrow. We'll see. Who knows?
America's not the government, people. The America is you. It is the Grand fucking Canyon, the Rocky Mountains, the deserts of the Southwest, the Pacific fucking Ocean, the Atlantic fucking Ocean. It is the grandest continent. And what the fuck have you people done? You have turned yourself into sheep, every goddamn one of you.